Welcome to today's virtual public information meeting video hosted by the New Mexico Department of Transportation. Thank you for joining us. We're excited to share with you information on the New Mexico 556 Tramway Boulevard Trail Overpass Improvements Project. Tramway Boulevard is a major north-south roadway corridor serving the east side of Albuquerque along the foothills of the Sandia Mountains. This project includes 4 existing timber bridges that carry a multi-use trail over Tramway for grade-separated crossings. My name is Jennifer Hyre, and I will be facilitating this video presentation for the NMDOT. Community members are encouraged to listen to our presentation and contact us to ask questions and share your comments. Today, we will be presenting the overall project, the need for the project, and the design elements for the 4 timber bridges along Tramway Boulevard. Next, I'd like to hand it over to Greg Clark to introduce you to our team members. Greg?
Thank you, Jennifer. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am Greg Clark, Project Development Engineer with the New Mexico Department of Transportation. The New Mexico Department of Transportation has partnered with an engineering firm called WSP to complete preliminary and final engineering on these timber bridges along New Mexico 556. I'd like to introduce our team that will be presenting today. You've already been introduced to Jennifer Hyre, our environmental planner with the WSP team. You will also hear from Ray Trujillo, project manager with WSP, who will be presenting the project design to you shortly.
Thank you, Greg. Our presentation today will talk about a couple of topics, including the project limits, existing conditions, the proposed improvements, the NMDOT's anticipated schedule, and the next steps. I'd like to reiterate that we do want to hear from you, the community, on your concerns with the bridges, the project we're developing, and any other questions or comments you may have. We'll give you some information about that at the end of our presentation. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Ray.
Thank you, Jennifer, and hello, everyone. During my portion of the presentation, I will give you some background of the project limits, describe the existing conditions, and describe what the proposed improvements will be for this project. The project is located along Tramway Boulevard in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The project limits are from milepost 11.6 at Comanche Road to milepost 14.6 at Copper Avenue. There are 4 timber arch truss pedestrian bridges that cross over Tramway Boulevard between milepost 11.6 and milepost 14.6 as shown on the slide. 3 of these bridges will be rehabilitated and 1 bridge will have some minor preservation work done. After I describe the existing conditions of the bridges in the next few slides, I will go in more detail as to what bridge rehabilitation and preservation is and what rehabilitation work and preservation work will consist of for each of the bridges. So let's first talk about the existing conditions of the bridges. 3 of the bridges have timber decking on them. The timber decking has splits and checks, minor decay, advanced weathering, and has become uneven due to years of wear and tear. Some timber deck planks and bolts that anchor them are loose in isolated locations throughout. The existing timber decking on each of the 3 bridges is in fair condition. The existing pedestrian screening fence on all 4 bridges is loose and sagging in some isolated locations and also cut in some locations. Overall, the fence is in satisfactory condition. The concrete abutments and piers have random cracking with some minor delamination and spalling occurring in isolated locations. Overall, the piers and abutment concrete are in satisfactory condition. The steel bridge elements, such as the railing, steel plates, steel pins, and bearing supports, have paint flaking and some minor corrosion occurring. Ultrasonic testing of the steel plates and steel pins was conducted recently in several locations along the bridges. The results of the ultrasonic testing deemed that the existing steel plates and pins are in satisfactory condition and no defects were found. All 4 bridges are comprised of timber glulam beams as shown in the photos. These glulam beams are the main carrying members for each of the bridges. Glulam beams are made up with multiple layers of solid wood lumber bonded together with high strength adhesive to form a single structural beam. The existing glulam beams have some minor weathering, decay, and surface checks. Ultrasonic testing of the glulam beams was conducted recently in several locations along the beams. The results of the ultrasonic testing deemed that the existing glulam beams are in satisfactory condition and no defects or decay were found. Next, I will talk about what the proposed improvements will be for this project. As mentioned earlier and shown in the slide, 3 of the bridges will be rehabilitated while 1 of them will have a preservation work done. You may be wondering, what is the difference between rehabilitation and preservation, and what does this work consist of? Bridge preservation, as defined by the Federal Highway Administration, is work done to prevent or reduce the deterioration of a bridge, restores the function of the bridge, and improves its condition. It also extends the bridge's service life. Examples of bridge preservation include repairing concrete bridge elements and repainting steel bridge elements. Bridge rehabilitation, as defined by the Federal Highway Administration, is work required to restore the structural integrity of a bridge and to correct major defects and deterioration a bridge may have. In simple terms, bridge rehabilitation will involve more work to restore the bridge or bridges versus bridge preservation. Examples of bridge rehabilitation include replacement of the bridge deck. Some of you may recall back in 2013, the bridge near Candelaria Road caught fire and destroyed the west approach ramps of the bridge. The rest of the bridge, such as the portions over Tramway Boulevard and the east approach ramps, were not damaged by the fire. After the fire, the NMDOT determined that the bridge could be rehabilitated to restore the structural integrity of this bridge. So in 2014, the entire west approach ramp was rebuilt and all the timber decking on the bridge was replaced with a new fiber reinforced polymer deck as shown in the photo, qualifying this work as bridge rehabilitation. Fiber reinforced polymer decks were selected as a material choice because it provides a more durable and longer lasting deck than timber. It is also lightweight, easy to install, and requires little to no maintenance. Other work done to the bridge in 2014 included the installation of a new handrail onto the existing handrail in order to meet ADA requirements. And the existing pedestrian rail and other steel bridge elements were repainted. Even though the bridge near Candelaria Road was rehabilitated in 2014, it does need some minor work done to it today. As part of this project, the concrete at the abutments and piers have minor cracking and spalling and will be repaired. The pedestrian fence is loose and sagging in some areas and will be retightened. The bridge near Candelaria Road has several exposed steel plates, nuts, and bolts that are exhibiting some paint flaking and minor corrosion and will be repainted to preserve them. This concludes the work that will be done to the bridge near Candelaria Road under this project. Next, I will talk about the work required for the 3 remaining bridges. The NMDOT has determined that the existing timbered bridge decks need to be replaced on the 3 remaining bridges. As I mentioned earlier, replacement of the bridge decks is an example of bridge rehabilitation. The timber decking on the 3 bridges will be replaced with a fiber reinforced polymer deck, similar to what was done on the bridge near Candelaria Road in 2014. Because the NMDOT has received numerous compliments on the fiber reinforced polymer decking that was used to replace the timber bridge deck on the bridge near Candelaria Road, fiber reinforced polymer decking will again be the material choice for replacing the decks. A new handrail will be installed onto the existing pedestrian rail in order to meet ADA requirements, similar to what was done to the bridge near Candelaria Road. The pedestrian rails and exposed steel plates, nuts, and bolts are exhibiting some paint flaking and minor corrosion and will be repainted to preserve them. The concrete at the abutments and piers have minor cracking and spalling and will be repaired. The pedestrian fencing is loose and torn in some isolated locations. It is also sagging in some areas. The pedestrian fencing will be repaired and retightened. Replacement of the timbered bridge decks will require the existing bridges to be temporarily closed so that the bridge decks can be replaced quickly. It is anticipated that one bridge will be worked on at a time. Prior to closing any of the bridges, advanced signing will be placed to help pedestrians safely get from one side of Tramway Boulevard to the other. Vehicular traffic will be reduced to one lane while the deck is being replaced. Only one lane will be dropped at a time, and it is anticipated that the deck replacements will only occur during daylight hours. At nighttime, all lanes in each direction will be reopened so that there are no traffic disruptions at night. Detour riding for users of the multi-use trail will be provided when required and will occur along existing pedestrian routes. Crossings will occur at the nearest signalized intersection when the bridge is closed. Bicycles using the tramway shoulder will be maintained using channelized lanes through the construction zone as required. This concludes my portion of the presentation. I would like to thank everyone for joining and listening. I now turn it over to Jennifer.
Great information. Thank you, Ray. Next, I will talk about the project schedule and next steps. This project began in winter 2020 with preliminary design. The design looked at the existing conditions and potential options for making improvements. To further the project, we are now hosting this virtual public project video presentation on the NMDOT website to present the project to you so that we can capture your feedback. That feedback will then be taken into account as we move from the initial engineering design, which we started, and moving into the final design for the project. We anticipate the final engineering design to be completed this summer, with construction anticipated to start in winter at the end of 2021 or the start of 2022. We do still have more to do on the project though before construction. Our next steps include gathering public input and answering questions throughout the month of April, with the comment period closing on April 31st, 2021. After that, we will continue the project design and anticipate having the final design plans developed by summer 2021. That will then allow the project to be let for construction with the anticipated start date, as I mentioned, of winter 2021-2022. Well, now that you've heard from us, we'd like to hear from you. We would like to answer any of your questions, be informed of any of the feedback or input that you have on the project. And to do that, you may email me at jennifer.hyre@wsp.com. You can call me at area code 505-878-6577. You may feel free to send your input and questions through the mail at our address as shown on the slide. We do prefer electronic submittals since we are still teleworking, but the three options for commenting and asking questions are available to you. This presentation and other information is available on the NMDOT website, which is dot.state.nm.us/NMDOT projects. We ask that you send us your comments and questions by April 30th to allow us to move forward with the project. If you need to request any paper copies, you can feel free to reach out through any of the methods that we have listed in our presentation today. We're grateful that we've been able to offer a safe way to share project information with you and work towards advancing this project forward. Thank you to all of our community members who watched this video and have participated. Please stay safe and have a good day.